A land steeped in legend and cloaked in fog, it has kept a secret for generations, whispering on the lips of kings and pirates the promise of unfathomable wealth. This is Oak Island, the location of the most persistent enigma in the world. 3 teenage lads found a weird depression in the ground behind an ancient oak tree in 1795, which is when the narrative starts. What they began was a narrative rather than only a joke, and passion that would last for 227 years and attract engineers, dreamers, and even Franklin D. Roosevelt, the future president of the United States. Everyone thought they had the key when they arrived. The island, however, is a jealous protector. It turned into a whirlpool of hopelessness and ambition. Reputations were damaged and fortunes wasted. The quest required payment in the form of treasure and blood as a sacrifice. From the gloom of failure, a dire prophecy surfaced, stating that 7 people had to perish before the island would offer its reward. The island has claimed 6 over the decades. The lives and hearts of everyone who has ventured to touch it have been consumed by this mystery, which has been a tale of sacrifice and disaster. Syndicate after syndicate showed in with superior technology and fresh theories. In the 19th century, they introduced steam-powered pumps, and in the 20th century, they introduced enormous drilling rigs. They battled the unrelenting, soul-crushing geology of the notorious Money Pit, crumbling tunnels, and enigmatic booby traps intended to flood the shafts with cedar. Each attempt ended in the same manner, with shattered equipment, empty hands, and the sting of defeat. All they discovered were intriguing hints, a solitary Spanish coin, pieces of coconut fiber from a far-off place, and a mysterious stone tablet just enough to keep the fire burning and guarantee that the lunacy would last for another generation. And now, the most grandiose endeavor of all, in the 21st century, equipped with cutting-edge drilling technology, seismic imaging, and an unwavering resolve, a team has made more strides than ever before. They have fought against their own growing misgivings, the world's cynicism, and the island's curse. They have put the pieces of a puzzle that has been building for ages together. By following the hints provided by their forebears and standing on the shoulders of giants who failed before them, everything changes tonight. The weight of history, the ghosts of the dead, and centuries of searching all come together in one amazing moment. The most epic, costly, and protracted treasure search in history is not yet at its conclusion. It has reached its breathtaking end. The riddle has been solved after 227 years of unrelenting investigation. They have located the treasure. The claustrophobic shaft sparks, debris, and old stone are all being ground down by the breakthrough internal drill bit. Close-up of a metal drill encountering resistance in extreme detail. Outward spraying debris. A broad view of a sophisticated control room. The team is bent over several displays, concentrating. A dramatic moment occurs when the drill unexpectedly breaks through the barrier. Shift in resistance and an audible lurch. The control room bursts with joy. People leap, raising their arms and flinging papers. Montage of animated faces in close-up. Eyes wide, mouths over hands. Astonished happiness. Close-up of an advanced subterranean camera being read. There are several visible lenses and LEDs. Dramatic cable drop into the shadows. The camera's lights fade into the dark emptiness. They have done the unthinkable following a last full-scale attack on the money hole. A close-up of the monitor reveals interference and static as the camera moves in different depths. Close-ups of people holding their breath in succession. Tense quiet. The last vault has been breached. The core of the Oak Island enigma will soon be revealed to the public for the first time. POV the vault seen by an underground camera, which shows stone walls as strong leads cut through complete darkness. In harsh light, a large dry stone chamber is established, revealing ancient masonry. Close-up of the faces of the team members, their eyes wide with amazement and astonishment. Several sizable iron-bound treasure chests are scattered across the room, as seen by the sweeping camera. An elaborate stone sarcophagus with enigmatic engraved markings in the middle of the chamber. At a dramatic low angle, the camera moves across shelves made of carved stone that contain old books, scrolls, and enigmatic artifacts. An up-close view of the expedition leader, who is clearly upset and has tears in her eyes. Nobody could have imagined what the camera captured. A whole repository, not just one chest. For generations, a secret archive was kept out of the public eye. It was a vault that held long-lost treasures. The air altered as the Horde of History team descended. Something old and dry replaced the shaft's wet, earthy odor. The aroma of preserved history. Their headlights cut through the suffocating blackness to reveal a man-made room rather than a cave. There was a deep silence that was only shattered by their own breathing. As soon as their boots struck the stone floor, centuries of undisturbed dust swirled like little ghosts in their lights. Since the air was walled off from the outside world, they were the first to stand here and breathe it. The room's size was astounding. It was much bigger than any survey had indicated. As their lights moved over the room, they were instantly drawn to one chest. It was the biggest, a monster of a container that held a substantial prize and was bound in thick corroded iron. With crowbars and unwavering resolve, they got to work. The chamber was filled with the shriek of tormented metal and the moan of old wood, a sound of disclosure and transgression. At last, the lid gave way with a loud crack. Their light's beams fell upon an unbelievable sight. An ocean of gold. Heavy bullion bars, goblets, and plates are also available in addition to coins. The sparkle nearly blinded me. These included French Louis d'ors, Spanish looms, and coins with the Knights Templar cross on them. It was an impossible combination of a crusader's war chest and a pirate's ransom. The tremendous amount of riches stunned them into silence, but they quickly turned their focus to a second, more exquisite chest. It was made of black polished wood and was smaller. They didn't recognize the crest right away because it was finely engraved with royal emblems. This lockbox wasn't a brute. It was a royal treasury. Although the lock was intricate, it had deteriorated with time. When the lid was raised, a deep, complex fire instead of a dazzling flash of gold was visible. Priceless royal jewels, pearl strands, thumb-sized emeralds, and diamonds that caught and broke light into 1,000 small rainbows were all inside the chest. A crown, an elaborate, exquisite piece of regalia from a vanished European monarchy, and a representation of a power long believed to be lost to myth, were found reclining on a bed of fading velvet. The biggest treasure, however, had not yet been discovered. Shelves were cut into the far wall beyond the chests, and there was something far more valuable on those shelves than gold or gems. Numerous books and scrolls were maintained in pristine condition in the chamber's stable, dry air. The team's historian came closer, hands shaking. The real Holy Grail was this. Knowledge endures forever, but wealth and gems can be wasted and worn. He carefully raised a document that was bound in leather. The pages were made of immaculate vellum rather than disintegrating parchment. The ink had the same clarity and darkness as the day it was written. He traced the exquisite calligraphy with his finger as he gently opened it to the title page. The Navigator's Compendium, a genuine narrative of the New World, was ascribed to a persona that history had written off as a fable. It was more than just a book. History itself was rewritten. Treasures are shown in a fast-cut montage with dramatic soundtrack. Was a treasure of unfathomable worth and diversity? A library of knowledge that historians thought was lost to time forever. The lost crown jewels of a vanished European monarchy and the treasure of pirates and Templars. It was all of the treasures, not just one. The Holy Secret team leaders approaching an elaborate stone coffin in a slow tracking shot. Reverent attitude. Close-up of the tomb lid's engraved symbols. Enigmatic low-key illumination. The entire squad is seen gathered around the sarcophagus in this wide image. Tense expectation. Close-up of several hands poised to slide, carefully placed on a large stone lid. Striking image of the stone lid gradually slipping away. The moaning of ancient systems. A suspenseful moment as the sarcophagus's interior turns black. The team holds its breath. A strong light beam illuminates the room with a golden shine as it slices through the darkness. Spectacular display of an elaborate golden chest with Trubik details that has been expertly kept. Close-up of the expedition leader crying as he is overtaken by the revelation. Extreme close-up of a face dripping with tears. Pure relief and happiness. Reverent close-up of the golden surface of the Ark. Exquisite workmanship and contemplations. However, the ultimate secret, the holy item the vault was constructed to safeguard, was located at the center of the room, the most valuable and coveted missing artifact in human history. The stories were real. Everything was accurate. The sound of festivities, a chamber that has been silent for centuries, is filled with the sound of the end of the curse for the first time. The triumphant lights of discovery, rather than the desperate beam of a hopeful drill, break the darkness. The ultimate secret of the Great Oak Island enigma has finally been revealed. After more than 200 years of unrelenting quest, broken dreams, and heartbreaking losses, the prize, the legendary material, has been located. Something deeper than treasure has been found with this discovery. This island has been freed from a curse and a prophecy that plagued it for many centuries. According to the legend, 7 people had to perish before the island would forfeit its treasure. That final cost had already been paid by 6 men, whose lives were now tragic footnotes in the gloomy ledger of the island. Their sacrifice had a purpose. However, the cycle of death comes to stop tonight. The 7th chair is still vacant. The unbreakable life force of tenacity and unshakable faith, not a final death, lifts the curse. For Rick and Marty Laganina, brothers, this is more than just a win. It marks the end of a journey that lasts a lifetime. In 1965, an item in a magazine inspired a childhood desire, a dream that many people thought was foolish. This piece of land is where they invested their time, money, and spirits. They had to deal with doubt, mockery, and the terrible burden of constant failure. They led a community united by a single, bold hope, honoring the island, its past, and the men who came before them. This is their confirmation, the realization of a two-brother vow, an evidence of a relationship that is deeper than a flood tunnel and stronger than any curse. What about the actual treasure? Its actual worth cannot be expressed in terms of gold or silver. The true wealth is hidden here, amidst the glistening cash and gems. Chests containing artifacts that link lost timelines, documents, and maps that have the power to alter the known world. Are these the Templar Knights' misplaced treasures? Marie Antoinette's missing diamonds, or evidence of Francis Bacon's covert creations? The legends driving questions are no longer hypothetical. The evidence is present and just has to be interpreted. An even bigger quest begins when the treasure hunt comes to a conclusion. The pursuit of historical accuracy. There is no longer a folktale about Oak Island. It is currently a crucial period in human history. The treasure hunters have completed their task. However, the job of academics, scientists, and historians is only getting started. Every document is a sentence in a novel that will be painstakingly put together over many decades. And every artifact is a word. This finding won't only complete the gaps in our history, it will compel us to revise our maps and reevaluate our assumptions regarding the covert currents that have molded our planet. At last, the island has spoken, and its words will reverberate for generations to come. Oak Island's legacy has been permanently altered. It is now a story of conclusion rather than mystery. It is now a story of accomplishment rather than obsession. It serves as a timeless tribute to the strength of optimism, the bravery of conviction, and the unwavering human spirit that dares to pursue a dream in the face of overwhelming adversity. Oak Island has seen a new day after decades of darkness. The narrative is finished. The world has finally been able to see the secret riches. Please subscribe to our History Documentary Hub channel for more thought-provoking videos and captivating material. Tools for Video Analytics. There is a little island off the coast of Nova Scotia, a country shrouded in darkness and steeped in folklore. For generations, it has remained a secret, whispering the promise of unimaginable wealth to pirates and rulers. This is Oak Island, the site of the world's most enduring mystery. The story begins in 1795, when 3 young men discovered an odd hole in the earth under an old oak tree. What they started was not just a joke, but a story, a love that would draw engineers, idealists, and even the future U.S. President Franklin D. Roosevelt over the course of 227 years. When they got there, they all believed they had the key, but the island is a jealous guardian. It became a maelstrom of ambition and despair. Fortunes were squandered and reputations were harmed. The quest demanded sacrifices of blood and riches as payment. A terrible prophecy sprang from the gloom of failure, claiming that 7 people had to die before the island would provide its reward. Over the years, the island has claimed 6. This enigma has been a story of sacrifice and tragedy that has engulfed the lives and hearts of anyone who have dared to touch it. Syndicate after syndicate arrived with new theories and better technology. Steam-powered pumps were introduced in the 19th century, and massive drilling rigs were added in the 20th century. They fought against the relentless, soul-crushing geology of the infamous Money Pit, dilapidated tunnels, and mysterious booby traps designed to fill the shafts with salt. Every effort ended the same way, with broken gear, empty hands, and the pain of failure. All they found were interesting clues. There was only enough to keep the fire going and ensure that the madness would continue for another generation. A single Spanish coin, bits of coconut fiber from a distant location, and an enigmatic stone tablet. And now, in the 21st century, the most ambitious effort of all. With advanced drilling equipment, seismic imaging, and a resolute attitude, a team has achieved greater progress than ever before. They have struggled against the island's curse, the world's cynicism, and their own mounting doubts. by following the clues given by their ancestors and standing on the shoulders of giants who failed before them. They have assembled the parts of a puzzle that has been assembling for ages. Tonight, everything is different. In one incredible moment, the weight of history, the ghosts of the dead, and centuries of searching all come together. The longest, most expensive, and most spectacular treasure hunt in history is far from over. Its spectacular conclusion has arrived. After relentless research for 227 years, the puzzle has been solved. The treasure has been found. The suffocating shaft that breaks through internal drill bit is grinding down old stone, sparks, and trash. Detailed close-up of a metal drill running into resistance, spewing debris outward. An overview of an advanced control room. The group is hunched over a number of screens, focused. The drill unexpectedly breaches the barrier, creating a spectacular moment. Resistance change and a noticeable lurch. Happiness erupts in the control room. People jump, throwing papers and lifting their arms. Close-up montage of animated faces, wide-eyed, hands over mouths. Surprised joy. Close-up of a sophisticated underground camera being operated. Numerous lenses and LEDs are visible. Striking cable drop into the darkness. The lights from the camera disappear into the pitch-black void. After a final full-scale strike on the money hole, they have done the unimaginable. As the camera moves in various depths, a close-up of the monitor shows static and interference. Successive close-ups of people holding their breath. Tense silence. The final vault has been compromised. Soon, the public will see the core of the Oak Island mystery for the first time. POV and subterranean camera captures the vault's stone walls, while powerful LEDs pierce the total darkness. A sizable dry stone chamber is created in the harsh light, exposing historic masonry. Close-up of the team members' faces, showing their wide-open eyes in shock and wonder. The sweeping camera shows several large iron-bound treasure boxes strewn over the room. In the center of the room, at a dramatic low angle, is a complex stone sarcophagus with mysterious etched patterns. The carved stone shelves that hold ancient books, scrolls, and mysterious treasures are traversed by the camera. A close-up of the expedition leader, who is obviously distressed and crying. What was captured by the camera was beyond anyone's imagination. Not a single chest, but a whole repository. A secret archive remained hidden from the public for generations. The vault contained valuables that had been missing for a long time. As the horde of history crew lowered themselves, the atmosphere changed. The damp, earthy smell of the shaft gave way to something old and dry. The scent of history maintained. Instead of a cave, their headlights illuminated a man-made space through the oppressive darkness. As soon as their boots hit the stone floor, the eerie calm was broken only by their own breathing. In their lights, centuries of unaltered dust swirled like little ghosts. They were the first to stand here and breathe the air because it was shut off from the outside world. It was an astonishingly large chamber, far larger than any assessment had suggested. They were immediately pulled to one chest as their light swept across the room. It was the largest, a monstrous jar encased in thick corroded iron, and containing a significant prize. They set to work with crowbars and a resolute attitude. The sigh of ancient wood and the shriek of anguished metal filled the chamber. A confessional, transgressive sound. Finally there was a loud crack when the lid broke away. The rays of their lights fell onto an unfathomable scene. A sea of gold. Coins are also available, as are heavy bullion bars, goblets, and plates. I was almost blinded by the sparkle. These featured coins bearing the Knights Templar Cross, Spanish doubloons, and French louis d'ors. The combination of a pirate's ransom and a crusader's war chest was unthinkable. They were awed into silence by the immense wealth, but they soon shifted their attention to another, more beautiful chest. It was smaller and fashioned of polished blackwood. The crest was intricately etched with royal insignia, so they didn't immediately recognize it. It wasn't a brute lockbox. The treasury was a royal one. The lock was complicated, but it had worn down over time. Lifting the lid revealed a deep, intricate fire rather than a brilliant burst of gold. Inside the trunk were thumb-sized emerald. Diamonds that caught and broke light into 1,000 tiny rainbows, pearl strands, and priceless royal jewels. Resting on a bed of fading velvet were a crown, a piece of intricate, beautiful regalia from a long-gone European monarchy, and a symbol of a power long thought lost to myth. But the greatest prize had not yet been found. Beyond the chests, shelves were carved into the far wall, and those shelves held something far more precious than gems or cash. The calm, dry air of the room kept many books and scrolls in perfect condition. With trembling palms, the team's historian approached. This was the true Holy Grail. While gold and gems can be worn down and wasted, knowledge survives forever. He lifted a leather-bound document cautiously. The pages were not composed of crumbling parchment, but of pristine vellum. Its ink was as dark and clear as the day it was written. Gently he opened it to the title page and ran his finger over the beautiful lettering. An authentic account of the New World, the Navigator's Compendium, was attributed to a character that history had dismissed as a myth. It was not only a book, the very course of history was altered. A powerful soundtrack accompanies the fast-cut sequence of treasures. Was a treasure of incalculable diversity and value, a forgotten European monarchy's crown jewels, the riches of pirates and Templars, and a library of knowledge that historians believed had been lost to time forever. It wasn't just one treasure, it was all of them. In a slow tracking shot, the leaders of the Holy Secret team approach an ornate stone casket. Reverent demeanor, close-up of the etched symbols on the tomb lid, mysterious low-key lighting. This broad view shows the entire squad gathering around the tomb. Nervous anticipation. Close-up shows multiple hands carefully positioned on a big stone lid, ready to move. Amazing picture of the stone lid slowly falling off. The whine of old systems. The interior of the sarcophagus turns black, creating a tense situation. The group holds its breath. A powerful light beam pierces the darkness and casts a golden glow across the room. Magnificent presentation of a finely preserved, ornate golden chest with cherubic decorations. A close-up of the expedition commander sobbing as the realization overwhelms him. Very close-up of a tear-streaked face. Pure joy and comfort. Reverent close-up of the ark's gleaming exterior. Beautiful work and thoughtful reflections. But in the middle of the room was the ultimate secret, the sacred object that the vault was built to protect. The most prized and sought-after lost object in human history. The tales were authentic. It was all true. The sound of celebrations, the sound of the end of the curse fills a chamber that has been quiet for millennia. The darkness is broken for the first time by the triumphant lights of discovery, not by the desperate beam of a hopeful drill. After over 200 years of relentless pursuit, dashed hopes, and devastating losses, the Great Oak Island Mystery's ultimate secret has now been made public. The fabled substance, the reward, has been found. With this finding, something more profound than treasure has been discovered. A prophecy and a curse that afflicted this island for generations have been lifted. The mythology states that the island would lose its treasure if 7 individuals died. 6 men had already paid the last price. Their lives becoming tragic footnotes in the island's grim ledger. There was a reason for their sacrifice. Tonight, though, the circle of death stops. There is still no one in the 7th chair. The curse is lifted not by a final death, but by the indestructible life force of perseverance and unwavering faith. This is more than simply a victory for brothers Rick and Marty Laganina. It signifies the conclusion of a lifelong journey. A magazine piece in 1965 sparked a childhood fantasy, a dream that was deemed silly by many. They put their time, money, and souls into this plowed land. They had to cope with uncertainty, derision, and the awful weight of perpetual failure. Honoring the island, its history, and the men who came before them, they guided a society bound together by a single, audacious hope. This is their affirmation, the fulfillment of a two-brother vow, and proof of a bond more powerful than any curse and deeper than a flood tunnel. But what about the real treasure? Gold or silver cannot adequately convey its true value. Here, amid the glittering money and jewels, lies the real richness. Chests filled with documents, maps, and artifacts that can change the known world and connect missing timelines. Are these the lost treasures of the Templar Knights? The missing diamonds of Marie Antoinette are proof of Francis Bacon's secret inventions. The central questions of the legend are no longer hypothetical. All that has to be done is interpret the evidence, which is there. When the treasure pursuit is over, an even greater mission starts, the quest for historical authenticity. A folktale concerning Oak Island has been lost. This is an important time in human history. Their mission has been accomplished by the treasure hunters. But the work of historians, scientists, and scholars is only beginning. Every artifact is a word, and every document is a sentence in a story that will be meticulously assembled over many decades. Not only will this discovery fill in the blanks in our past, it will force us to update our maps and reconsider our presumptions about the hidden currents that have shaped our world. The island has finally spoken, and future generations will be affected by what it has to say. The legacy of Oak Island has been irrevocably changed. It is no longer a mystery, but a story with a resolution. Instead of being an obsession, it is now a tale of achievement. It is a timeless celebration of the power of hope, the courage of conviction, and the human spirit's unflinching courage to follow one's dreams in the face of enormous adversity. After decades of gloom, Oak Island has seen a new day. The story is complete. The hidden wealth is now at last visible to the world. For more interesting videos and engaging content, please subscribe to our History Documentary Hub channel. Video Analytics Tools.